Nigeria, hello Africa, and hello world. Reporting live from our studios here in Lagos, Nigeria, it's time for Jasiri. And of course, the ladies and I are here to say welcome. Now, just in case you're not aware, let me tell you that New Central is proudly represented at the ongoing 79th United Nations General Assembly that's currently happening in New York. So don't forget to stay with New Central throughout the day and into the night because, of course, you know, we have some time zone differences for live coverage of the UNGA later today. A big shout out to Bernard Akede, who's been holding it down for us live at the United Nations. And we also expect our MD and editor-in-chief, Kayode Akintemi, to actually host 2 sessions on the sidelines of the UNGA. So those will also be coming to you like, we're doing big things.
Shout out to them.
We're doing big things.
You people don't like
big things, them all like.
Yeah. That's not UNE. That's not UNE.
He's up to the task.
No, but absolutely.
He's up to the task. Our international
I was so proud of him, you know, in this long,
and look,
I saw like a trench coat kind of thing with some black
He's a
on.
looker.
Yeah,
Like,
he's a looker.
He has the looks, he has the wit, he has everything.
Catherine, he does.
Those, so
Please, can I hear Kathleen say he has the looks? Do we want to discuss this further?
No, Lolo, no.
Or amplify it in a special, unique way?
Thank you, Annie.
And you have been dropping shocking, mouth-dropping things all morning.
Tolu,
Should I
if
tell
you
you the one
hear
she-
what she said in the studio before we went live.
Yeah, Isa.
Tolu, you want them to
Lolo,
shame
Lolo,
me.
yeah,
They
Isa.
want to
Yeah, Isa.
shame me.
Yeah,
Yeah, Isa.
Yeah, Isa.
Yeah, Isa.
Yeah, you too.
No.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, now.
No, we're not until the next
Guys, yesterday I
Until
told
one-
you.
I have a
that's
guest on
true.
standby.
That's true.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
We'll share the
But we
story.
shouldn't share
We'll
the
make it a
story,
hot
we
topic
promise.
tomorrow.
We promise.
I have a guest
Lolo,
on standby.
I got you.
Thank
but we have to get on to the business of today. A story that went viral on X caught our attention, and we do what we do best. We went to the source of the story, which reminds us once again about the challenges women and girls face in our country on so many different levels. Talk to Ene, I believe that's what it is, started trending on X when she started a story of wanting to pay school fees for some children in a school, only to be given the names of only male kids, when the school is in fact mixed. Well, there's no better person to tell this story. So joining us now is the, I can't say that word, is the Oteku. Thank you. The Oteku, SEO content writer, community manager, and personal assistant. Ene, welcome to Jasiri.
Hello, good morning.
Hi.
Good morning, Anna. Anna, please, can you briefly take us through what happened that led to the tweet you posted?
Oh, okay. So, I reached out to the school and I asked for the names of students who are unable to complete their fees for the term or haven't paid their fees for the term. And the principal sent a list of 5 people, and I realized all the names were boys. And jokingly, I was like, is this an all-boys school? I thought it was mixed. The person who recommended the school to me told me the school was mixed, and he goes, auntie, women, they always see who could help them from outside. Then he let out this very annoying laugh. And I was like, really? And then, oh well. So from there, we ended the meeting. It was a virtual meeting. We ended the meeting and he was to send me the list. I asked him to redo the list and send me the list. And then he resent the list and it was still the names of those 5 boys. And then I go, he still sent me the name of these 5 boys. Okay, I no longer want to pay through you. I want to talk to the owner of the school, because after my virtual meeting, I had spoken to the person who directed me to the school, and she was like, oh, she knows the proprietors. I'm like, cool. Let me talk to the woman. And then he goes, all these ashao, these days, money you got from a man, you don't want to spend it on men.
Ene, please just hold on. Hold on. So you went to the school, you asked for names of students. He first gave you a list.
No, it was a virtual meeting.
Okay.
Yes, he first gave you a list of 5 male students. You told him, no, please send another list, mixing it up. In the evening, he sends that list. I need us to put that message back on. And of course, what he told you the first time he sent the list was that women will get help outside if they go outside. Then he sends you this list again. You respond and say you still sent the list with the boys. I no longer wish to pay through you, Mr. So-and-so. I'll communicate directly with the owner of the school. Thank you. His reply to you, all these days, money you got from a man you don't want to spend on men. And you need to tell me how that made you feel when you saw that message.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
You see, to be honest, on a regular basis, I would feel really upset. I would feel really angry. I would begin to question myself. Okay, is there something I did to put myself out there that would make somebody think, oh, this girl is being trust funded by a man? Or but in this instance, it was just really funny to me because this man has no prior knowledge of anything about me. He knows me from nowhere. So for him to have said this, I just felt, you know what, this person is just crazy at that point. But then it goes to show how much of a burden misogyny now is in our society. It goes to show how if you're not doing the bidding of these men, it feels like we're not doing anything at all. Because one would argue that, oh, she's doing something good for people. She's doing something nice.
Yeah.
And I wonder why you still have to make it a gender-based scenario when it didn't need to be. I was so surprised. And then if he had just told me, oh, it was a mistake or probably a coincidence, I would have just overlooked
Brushed it off. Let me also ask, you've posted and we have some of those reactions. The reactions that have come in to what you posted have been quite interesting. Some people, of course, agreeing with you, and then others saying, like this gentleman, he's not lying. A woman would always see helpers. I and my sister were looking for somewhere in Ikeja. When I asked for directions, I was either ignored or asked to come patronize them. When my sister was with me, they came to ask where we were looking for and gladly pointed the way. He has another subsequent tweet as well, saying female children will grow up same as male children. A male by nature has to take care of his family. A woman by nature, in parentheses, someone who's going to carry, bear, and nurture kids someday has to be taken care of. It's wiser to equip the future provider.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Please.
And he calls himself Emmanuel the Great.
The reactions you've gotten to your post, what do you think they say about like the larger conversation around educating young girls, even just women being present and fully able to participate in our society when we get reactions like that?
You see, the thing is, every day on the internet, we see so many conversations surrounding how equality is a myth and it shouldn't exist and it doesn't exist. But then we keep seeing things like this happening over and over and over. And it's like, you guys can see what we are fighting for. Like, it's right before your eyes. It's clear as day, and you still keep complaining that it's not an issue. So it's beginning to feel like they do these things on purpose, and then they try to gaslight women into thinking, oh, it's not so big of an issue. It's not so big of an issue. Like somebody stepping on your neck, and they just stay there. And you that is being stepped on, you keep saying, oh, no, it's not an issue. We have so many other young women around who also commented. Somebody commented on this same post, and she said, well, he is right. Women will always get help outside. My husband saw me through school, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you are aware we're talking about young girls, little girls. How do you look at young children? And the first thing that comes to your mind is a man helping them. I feel like that comes from some sort of misogynistic pedophilia forefront. It's like, why do you look at a child? Why do you look at a young girl and all you can see is men who are sleeping with her in the future? That is, yes, it is very, very, very terrible. It's a social issue that I feel stems from the constant taking in of pornography. The whole pornography has a very, very wide range of effects on our society at large, and I feel like this is one of them. Constantly infantilizing women and feeling like, okay, women are just children. Women are children. Women, at every point in time, women don't grow up to them. Women cannot do things.
Wow. Miss Hene, I just want to ask, I know you have decided not to name the school or talk about it, but I know that this has something to do with the buzzer. Do you think that the school will take action against the buzzer? Because I particularly take, I take exception to that strong exception to that word that he used and the insinuation. And this is somebody that has influence
over the children.
Over children. So what did the school proprietor say?
Well, when I spoke to the proprietress, she's a very sound woman. She sounded like somebody who is very bright and also very big on empowerment and all of that. Surprisingly as it may sound, for everything that a woman faces, there is always some male-centered woman that is engineering it. So you see now the secretary was in cohort with the bursar to carry out this very useless activity.
Wow.
But from the way the proprietress spoke to me, she was really offended. And then we must not forget that the man has been stealing from her school. So even if she is not going to punish this man for this particular act, she is sure as hell going to punish him for stealing from her. And the last time I was in communication with them yesterday, the principal, who is now, I'll say we're relatively close now, that she took some interest in me and some liking to me. She told me that the guy has been arrested and they apologized at length. And then they asked me, okay, what do you want? What form of apology do you want? And I told her, I said, you know what? I want him to buy a 20 leaves notebook and write, NA is not an A. NA is not an line.
Wow!
I love it. So, this is,
oh my God.
wow, this is a story that's...
And they should take a picture of it and send it to me. I told them that.
I feel like this is one story that has had a good happy ending.
Yes.
And we're here to see it because not often, this doesn't actually happen often. There are many, I'm sure this man has done this many times before. It can't be the first time. It can't be the first time. And this is the problem with when a person gets into a position of power or influence and they abuse it. You spoil the road for other people. I can imagine if, for instance, this wasn't, if this didn't blow up as much as it did, you could decide, hey, listen, I'm not going to help people anymore because it's a waste of time. We talked about something like that in the makeup room this morning. How you lose your will to do good when it is ignored.
Of course.
Or taken advantage of.
Exactly, or taken advantage of. So I want to ask you, Ene, now that you've met with the school, you've met with the principal, are you still going to help the kids? Because it was a good thing that you wanted to do. It was just someone that was trying to take advantage of it. Are you still going to do that? I'm putting you on the spot live, but are you going to?
Well, the thing is, when I spoke to the principal yesterday, she said I could send someone in Benin over to kind of look around and give me feedback and then decide if I still want to go ahead with it. So I'm going to lean towards that side. I'm going to wait. I'm going to look for someone who is trustworthy and just send them on a random day and like, hey, go and after school, stop these girls on the road and ask them certain questions for me. And I think that's going to determine how I proceed further.
Wow. Wow.
And I salute you for not mentioning the name of the school. I would.
Totally.
I would.
A person and the school.
Because there are other children in that school.
For me, of course, they're separate. But for me, I'm saying so that people know. When you know and you see something, you know that it gives someone the confidence also who's seeing this happen in other institutions of learning to come forward and say, because this is not an isolated case, not in that school and not in any other school in Nigeria. But we do want to thank you so much for joining us on Jasiri, and thank you for sharing with us. I mean, we love it, like Annie says, that this has had a happy ending. And we want to thank you especially for using your voice to challenge harmful narratives. You are a true Jasiri woman, my sister. That thing you say, you should write, Ene is not a something.
We want to see it.
We salute you for your boldness. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ene.
Thank you.
Wow. Honestly, I had goosebumps.
I'm having them now. I chased her down on X yesterday.
The same way you chased Mr. Riagba.
Do you know?
I chased everybody.
Do you know the bad thing is that this man that did this Imagine his mindset and what he might have even been doing to the girls.
Oh, yeah.
He might not have molested them or done anything, but he could have said things to them that are
demoralizing.
If he's that
conditioning them
loose,
to
if he's
what
that
they say.
loosely interactive with
And
his
why
tongue.
is it that for many Nigerian men, the first insult
is the
that you put to a woman when she rejects you or doesn't
when
do
she walks up boundaries,
or is setting boundaries?
if she's an
you guys need to look at yourself.
They need to upgrade their
vocabulary
when it comes to insulting women.
And you know the funny thing?
Is that you bloody hard-working woman.
Why don't you say, you bloody hard-working woman, use something, but I think because of the negative energy that boils, that forms anger, your mind doesn't take you there.
I think it's an offshoot of the commodification of women. And the thing is, once something is a commodity, it is buyable. And men diminish women by thinking that they can buy them.
When they meet the ones that they can't
think
buy.
that they can. But we're going to take a quick break. When we return, our main conversation focuses on changing the narrative around widowhood in Nigeria. Oluwaseun Stephen, the founder of a very beautiful initiative advocating for the rights of widows in our society, is our guest. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
You're watching Jasiri. Please join the conversation via our social media platforms. We are at News Central TV. Now, we're very privileged to have Oluwaseun Stephen with us today. She's the founder of the Patrick Stephen Purple Heart Foundation, an organization dedicated to uplifting widows in Nigeria. In many communities, widowhood is viewed through a lens of cultural stigmatization and hardship, where widows often face social isolation, economic instability, and even blame for the loss of their spouse. Today, we aim to discuss how we can collectively change the narrative around widowhood in Nigeria and create a more supportive and empowering environment for widows. Oluwaseun, welcome back to Jasiri.
So much. So
Welcome.
all look so
And you do. So a lot of people will not know, but Oluwaseun was one of the guests we had on the second iteration of Jasiri. And her story resonated so much, and many of us have kept up with the work that she's doing. She's fighting the good fight, but she's also fighting against culture, tradition, and many other things in order to change the narrative for widows in Nigeria. And we want to join our voices to hers on this issue as well. So welcome again.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. So the advocacy that you have for widows, it's a personal one. I'm not personally aware of the story, but I think I remember running into you at an event on Saturday. Maybe we didn't actually speak in person.
Yes, I saw.
But I heard your
your
story.
I was monitoring.
I heard about your story and it was so inspiring. So it's a personal passion for you because, like I was saying, a few years ago, you became a widow and it was at a very young age. I'm sorry about that. You raised 2 kids by yourself. Three. Whoa.
3.
You're
That's
still
it.
raising.
She has to tell the story.
Oh, wow. So I'm going to let you just tell us a bit about your story before I ask a question. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so the day began like any other day. It was a Friday, I remember. And then he said he had to go run an errand. And then someone called me sometime in the afternoon that he had been rushed to the hospital. But by the time I got there, he was, you know how people look when they are kind of brain dead. You know, that's how he looked. He couldn't respond to me. He couldn't hear me. He was just bleeding. And I was there with our 2 kids, because Patrick and I had always taken care of the kids by ourselves, no nannies or anything. So it was just me and them at home. So I just took them with me, thinking maybe, oh, he broke a leg or, I wasn't prepared for what I saw. And then I found out I was pregnant like a few days later.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that's...
Oh, dear.
She really struck the story.
It's clear.
Yeah, because I would say I was aware from beginning till the end of everything because it was so close to home. I do not even like to rehash the day because it was so close to home. Imagine someone was calling me that there was an accident and a hospital around my area. So I was even asking around what was happening because it happened so close to me. And I didn't even know that it was so close like that. It was Patrick. But we're grateful. Still, I don't want to cry today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to just quickly move past the story. Anyway, I know that there's so many challenges that widows face, especially in Nigeria today. And what role do, societal stigma? Because it's a different thing that a circumstance happens to someone that you didn't prepare for. Now you are now faced with the onslaught of the society, how they look at widows. How does that play out in the lives of widows? Because a lot of people, I would not lie to you, they've never seen a widow like this.
Yeah.
I, growing up, would never imagine that a widowed woman will still be able to live wholesomely like this, because it is not expected.
It is not. And I feel like even a lot of widows, because my charity takes care of widows from, you know, below the age of 40, like from 40 below.
Wow.
And there are thousands of them. Some of them even call themselves single moms because they don't want to be known as widows because it's, you know, shameful. People look at them funny, like they have spiritual problems. I remember somebody, after I lost my husband, somebody said, have you gone for deliverance? Yes, because, I mean, there has to be something about you that killed him. It's so unusual for him to have died.
like that.
You must, so somebody even asked me, do you have a lot of widows in your family? Yes. Yes.
Please tell me that these are not women asking you.
It was women.
Women.
Of course it's women.
They came to my house to do a condolence visit, and they asked me those questions. I was in bewilderment. Most of the time, like, God, like, what is going on? Are these people insane? Why are they asking me this? You know, I would look at my sisters, and my sisters would be like, calm down, no screaming, just let them go, you know. And I think the societal condition is so bad that, you know, some widows have even resigned to fate. You know, when you meet them, they are young, but they don't want to work.
Yeah.
They just want to beg, or because the society has told them that that is all that you can be. I mean, I know a guy, he sent me a DM and he said, when are you going to find a man to rescue you?
From what?
Yes, because without a man, without a husband, a significant other, you are basically nothing.
Yeah.
You know,
Women are nothing.
So, you know, me and you talk a lot. And I followed her story, and she shared stories of the treatment she's received. I don't know why certain things you say and post stick to my mind. The conversations, how your generator guy.
Yes, the guy that used to repair our gen. Funny enough, when Patrick was alive, he's the one that used to come. And he hardly ever saw me because Patrick was the one that handled him. But, you know, after Patrick passed, the generator started acting up. So I got his number, called him, and then I couldn't reach him on the phone. So I sent him a WhatsApp message. And then, you know, he replied with a heart emoji.
Sorry, what?
That's the beginning.
Yes.
Sorry, what?
Yes. And then I had to send him a message. I said, this is Mrs. Stephen.
Good.
So you know that. He said, I know. So, you know, he sent me, how far, babe,
What?
how are
Sorry,
you?
no, you did not say babe.
No, he did. Babe, how are you?
It's okay.
Yes. Do you understand? Because it's kind of like, oh, her husband is dead.
It's open season. It's open season now.
Yeah, you know, she's fair game, you know.
Wow.
Yes. I've heard guys say, and some of these men are educated. Like the man that told me that widows are the girlfriends of married men.
So I just want to quickly correct that notion. Some of these men went to school.
Yes.
They are not educated.
Yeah. And a large percentage of them are actually married. Like sometimes, a lot of married men have told me, why do you want to remarry? Remarry for what? Just get a man to take care of you. I'm like, so just fornicating like that? You know, just a free-for-all.
Non-committal, nothing.
Which leads me into my next question. It just ties right into the next question of how the narrative surrounding widowhood in Nigeria. And I think the question has answered itself, but I'll still allow you answer. When you look at the societal influences, number one, and then you look at cultural influences, the narrative for widowhood, I'm sure a lot of us who are watching may not have paid that much attention to the things, the silent things, silent challenges, so to say, that you guys face. So, but just for clarity, how do you think the societal influences and cultural influences have affected the notion of widowhood in Nigeria?
Honestly.
These things you're saying to my sister, I'm gobsmacked.
As we said, I know that there's somebody watching saying, as well.
We have a long way to go. And you would think it's 2024.
Yes.
You know, these things shouldn't happen, but they are happening till tomorrow. And sometimes the people that perpetuate these things are educated people. You know,
people that went to school.
Yes. Okay, let's say people that went to school, because I remember at my husband's burial, after the burial, there was a family meeting, and then, you know, people would talk, and then they would say, but according to our tradition, this. These traditions are outdated, and they are no longer serving anybody.
Except
the
people.
Exactly.
Yeah, the old geezers and
old geezers. You know, it's just like telling a widow to sit in ash or
sitting
on the floor
Sitting
because
next to
her
the
husband
corpse.
is dead. And they'll tell you it is honoring your late husband. And I tell people that I honored and loved my husband when it mattered the most.
When he was alive.
When he was alive, to see the love, to feel the love, to receive it. So all this humiliation that I'm going through, who is it serving? How is this humiliation honoring the dead?
And you know,
we just have a culture that loves to demean women.
Exactly, because when you said honoring
towards
the
women.
dead, I want to say it's honoring the dead,
men.
You don't see
It doesn't happen
any
with women.
demands on men
Towards when
their
their wives die.
Oh, they are
like this.
most of the time widowers are rolled. The red carpet is rolled out for them. They take them to go get a drink and
In
start
fact,
advising them to
and then
marry.
find
as
them-
well.
Exactly. They start lining up all the other single women. Okay. So, you know, you take food to his house, just give it like 2 days. And then it's the most ridiculous thing.
In terms of that, we obviously know that men are not treated the same way when they lose their spouses. And we saw some of the widowhood practices that obtain, unfortunately, across parts of Nigeria, which include shaving of the head, wearing of black and white clothes, sleeping and sitting on the floor or mats, being refrained from bathing for some days, seclusion, being made to swear with the husband's corpse, and even more. And I remember when Junior Pope died, about 3 or so months afterwards, his wife, who I think is an event planner or something, she was at an event. And all of a sudden, there were questions as to why is she out? Who is feeding her children?
Exactly.
Who is going to take care? And those are the kind of things that unfortunately then leave widows susceptible to
being
abuse
preyed
and
on.
also being preyed on.
Exactly.
So you told us a bit about your story. I think it's also instructive for this conversation for people to hear about some of the stories that widows who you work with, the experiences they've also gone through as well. What is the age of the youngest widow that your organization has worked with? And share some of their stories with us, please.
The youngest widow that we have in our organization is 25.
25.
Oh my God.
Yes.
As in, she just married and the man died.
Yes, they finished school on time, you know.
got married early.
All the people that go to Babcock and, you know, they finished school on time and, okay, Babcock, I didn't mean to say it.
They shall finish on time.
But they finished school on time, so they got married, and then the guy died like almost a few weeks into.
And I think she was pregnant.
Yeah, she was
She
pregnant.
just had the baby.
Yeah.
Beautiful,
He's
chubby
baby boy.
I saw it.
Chubby. I saw the
Yeah,
pictures.
and you know, apart from her, there are also others like that who are like, they are not even 30, they're not even clocking 30 yet, like mid-20s. I remember when I met a widow that was like early 20s, I'm like, God, this is wrong. This is, you know, you just, and some of their stories are heartbreaking. Like the one who lost her husband and her father-in-law came and the next thing he asked for, where is my son's gold chain? He said this in Yoruba.
Kwa?
Gold chain, Omomida.
Gold chain.
Yes.
When you buried your son.
No, they're not. The guy.
He was not even buried yet.
He wasn't even buried yet.
Is there something in the gold chain?
They want to get it to sell it. Yes. Or the one that she was supposed to join her husband, Rosemary. She was supposed to join her husband abroad, and then, you know, but something happened, you know, and he passed, and you know, he had bought some landed properties, and it's like he knew he was going to die. So he said, babe, I have handed over all my properties to my brother. I want him to sell it and send you the money so I can take care of the children. The man blocked her on WhatsApp, blocked her on the phone, blocked her on everywhere you can block someone. And, you know, thank God for skill. Thank God she has a skill. So she sews and, you know, she's able to take care of herself now. But even the land that the man left for her, they choked her until she released
gave it up.
They called her, they threatened her, they threatened to do all kinds of things. They would kill her children, all sorts.
What?
Until she released. You know, some people say, you know, when widows when they lose property and like people are like, I take them to court.
But do you understand the court system in Nigeria?
Yes, you don't understand litigation. They can keep
Bury you
postponing
Yes.
for years, and it's expensive and it's emotionally draining. Going to court every day. So most of these women just. I know a lady. She used to fly. She used to go to Dubai for summer. She now lives where. For the longest time, she couldn't afford to take buses.
What?
Someone that used to drive. Yes. Yeah. At first, she had to go back to the village to live with her mom.
No.
Yes.
No.
Just to get back on her feet. It's that, I'm telling you, it's that bad.
So I need to, I need to ask.
It is that bad. It is that bad.
You know, if we're listening, most of the things that we're hearing are being done to widows. Yeah. It's being done by men.
Yes.
The fathers, the brothers, the uncles. And this is just, it leans into the narrative that everything that a man owns, even if, although the Bible says you leave whatever and you cleave to your family, in other words, you start a whole complete new unit that is autonomous and valid, it is not seen that way as by the other family members. It's like, our brother is out on lease, and if anything happens to him, we take back everything. Exactly. And so men have done so much. I like men, but when it comes to women who have lost their husbands, who are in mourning, who are going through probably the worst pain that they've ever experienced, because you're losing someone you love. Let's get it straight. Most women love their husbands, and you're losing someone that you have sworn to live your entire life with. You're never going to see this person again.
To
Do you know
raise
what I
children
mean?
with.
Even if you're in the most enabling environment, it still can't take that pain away. Absolutely. But you are now dealing with people who are like vultures, eating and, circling the carcass, as it were. What function or what role have men played in perpetuating this negative, harmful violation of human rights for widows? And why isn't there anything we can do about it?
Hiding behind culture in our culture.
Exactly.
Yes.
The thing is that a lot of our cultural practices need to be just scrapped, completely scrapped, because it serves no one. And the men are the brothers, they are the fathers. They are the ones that come around when your husband is alive and say, oh, our wife.
Yep.
That you cook for.
Yes.
Yeah.
That you
love
cater to.
Yeah.
I mean,
Those kids you buy things for when you travel.
oh yeah. And it's the way they do a 360 when the man dies. I still think maybe there's a spirit behind it or something, because I don't know how to explain that. It's just the way they they completely turn
It's
around.
like they never loved you to begin with.
Exactly. Yeah. And that thing you said about cleaving, I can tell you categorically, I don't mean to generalize, but I can tell you that there's no cleaving happening in most of the time. Like, there's a lady that is a widow now, and she didn't know that her husband was sickly. She didn't know that he had SS, sickle cell before she married him. Things like that.
They kept it secret.
Yeah, he kept it secret. And he told her that if anything happens to me, take my children back to my family.
Wow.
Yes. And then she's like, well, first of all, why would something happen to you? Second of all,
am I not here?
Am I not here? It's even the family. Sometimes they treat the woman like a surrogate.
Yes.
That, oh yeah, bring our brother's
You're the
children.
oven that we baked the bun in. Oh yeah, give us our bread.
And men have power. I mean, obviously, patriarchy. We live in a society that men are in charge.
Lords and kings.
There's a lot that men can do. You see this cleaving thing, there's no cleaving going on, because in most of the families, they just see the woman as, oh, someone who came to marry
Like
our brother.
parasite.
Sometimes they even say, oh, maybe she's even the one coming in between
Him
our
and the
brother,
family. Yeah.
and
They're
all
like
that.
treated like parasites.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then when the man is no more, they don't know what to do with you.
Hey.
Like, you were never part of them
the family.
to begin with. They don't see you as part of them.
So you're telling me, in all the widows you're working with, none of them has a different story of family treatment?
Out of 10, that's 98, that's 100%. I can tell you that 98% don't have a relationship with their in-laws, with their, me inclusive. I mean, this is very personal, but me inclusive. They're not bad people, but they just
They don't take you.
They just don't know what to
don't
do
take
with you
you to
anymore.
with
And
you
so
anymore.
everybody's like on their own.
Listen, it is so important when you want to get married. There's something, just quick chip in, Tolu. When you want to get married, I've been told this so many times.
Check the family.
Look at the family. Don't have like these rose-colored glasses on. Watch them. Watch how they interact. Watch if this person's mother has way more sway over him than he has over himself. These things are so important because it's going to tell you what you're going to go and experience.
But do you know these questions you all ask women to ask? Some of them are never obvious.
Yeah.
My
That's
sister,
also true.
my sister,
Always never
my sister.
obvious.
If you spend the time,
No, honey,
How
I've been
many
married
people?
11 years.
Yeah.
I'm still learning new things because circumstances and situations
Change
can put
people.
a different kind
Yeah,
of pressure on
that's
people.
true.
So
That's true.
you think you're in love and you know everything, but let me tell you, something will happen that you will see a different side.
but can a person change like fundamentally?
Yeah.
And
No,
Yeah.
that's,
what
I
I'm
believe
saying.
that
Who
is
you
where
are
it is.
is who
Like,
you
somebody
are.
shouldn't be able to change
To change
fundamentally.
you
So go down to the
completely.
values.
Yes.
Of the person.
Oluwaseun, so because I follow her and I want us to extract certain experiences.
Can I
because-
say something?
Yes, please
2
go ahead.
minutes or 1 minute. There's a lot that men can do. For example, when you're getting married, I know that you love your brother and you love your sisters, but I mean, just take a back seat. I mean, and just look at society.
Yes.
Look at what widows go through. Plan for your
Their
family,
family.
like you trust no one.
Yes.
You know. I always say that people say I will leave a will. A will can
Be
It can
contested.
be first of all, when a will comes out, it has to go through probate.
Probate.
Yeah.
So if you are owing anything, they take that from
it
there
first.
and then family. Do a living trust. Name beneficiaries.
Fantastic.
Do
And a trustee.
insurance. You know,
And
no
name
matter
them
how
as next
small
of
that
kin.
thing
is.
Name
No
them.
matter.
Okay, this person
is
gets
getting
this. There's nothing. I'm not saying that you cannot plan for your parents to be taken care of. You know, if anything happens to you,
Yeah.
of course, they're your parents. They raised you. But plan for your family, the children they are bringing into this world. Are you
Into this
are you
world.
bringing
to leave them for the
into sofa?
breeze?
And I also think that when people get married, when couples get married, they don't factor in death.
Death.
Because we don't
Nobody
want to
wants to
talk
think
about
about
it.
it.
She said,
Yeah.
somebody
Nobody
said,
wants to talk
are
about
you
it.
praying for me to die?
Yeah, to
No,
die.
You
Think
have
about
to
it.
have,
Yeah.
no matter how,
Please wait. Oluwaseun, I want us to extract experiences for people to really know that these are lived realities for so many women.
Yeah.
In December, you had your first widow's Christmas end of
Yeah.
the year. And I remember in her story, she posted about a young widow who went and enjoyed herself and shared the pictures and the video, the voice notes that somebody sent to her. And I don't know why this sticks in my mind. The person was telling her that it's like you're even happy that you saw it,
Yes, I saw
that your
it.
husband is
I
dead,
follow it.
that if nobody else will tell you, me, I will tell you. It's like you've joined a coven because
Yeah.
you're with other widows who are at least celebrating life. She takes a widow out on a date once a month and, dress them up, take them out because nobody thinks
Does
about
it?
them anymore.
Yeah.
And this person went on and was ranting and saying, so you're even happy your husband is dead. It's like you're even very happy about it. If you don't know, people will watch you. I just need to say my own. It's like you've joined a coven. If nobody's going to tell you to join my head farts.
What she used.
And then I remember again, Junior Pope's wife going out.
Yeah.
Is it that we believe that
got so
widows,
much
one,
backlash.
should not have any joy or fun in their life
Yeah.
once their husband's passed?
Exactly.
They should not
eternally
be thinking
sad.
about
Forever.
remarrying.
People will say, stay at home for a year. To do what?
How?
will your children
Do you
eat?
know how staying inside
Can it increase your
against your
Depression.
will can make you depressed? Even lack of vitamin D
Yes.
makes you depressed.
Depressed, yes.
And then you're saying I should stay inside. Okay, why can't we have stuff for widows when their husband dies? Let me say, okay, take her out to get counseling, take her out to therapy. If she likes swimming, let her go out to swim. The man that is dead is dead.
Yeah.
Let the living live.
Yes.
Yes. I don't have to suffer because he died. Did I kill him?
Honestly, I think
sister.
many men who pass on, they would be mortified to see
How
how
their
their wives are
families
treated
Exactly.
outside
You know,
the home.
I keep
Exactly. I
telling
always say
we
that.
can talk about things from the men's perspective. But now that we are better educated, what do you think women should do now? Because it's a different thing than the society and the culture. There are some of these we cannot change fundamentally now. But what can women do, especially women that are in marriages now, that can, nobody sees this as a future. I know a lot of people will see that as an extreme, but death is part of life.
Absolutely.
And we have to plan it. What can women in the now do? Especially people that are wearing glasses like me with love sweeting them. What decisions can women take for the future of such an occurrence, near or far? Because there's some we can't change.
Yeah.
But what can we do now as women that can shore up your future and will not let your children suffer, or you?
God knows I love love. I love love.
And she wants to remarry.
Oh, that's a good thing.
And I don't pray that anyone loses their husband, you know. And I don't care how rich your husband is. You have to have your own money.
Facts. Facts.
Get a skill. Have your own money. Because what is yours cannot be taken from you. You must have your money. Because when these women die, when these men die, that is when you realize that, wait, yeah, he had cars and everything, but if you don't have access to those things,
What was in my name? What was in my own bank account?
even stuff that are in both names, the family people are fighting.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a man who, he had cancer. So before he died, he changed all the properties to just his wife's name. Every single thing. So when the family people came,
They had no
they're
leg
like,
to stand on.
this one is in her name. This one is in her name. This one is in her name. They had not. He provided for them. Funny enough, but they also wanted to take what he had left for her.
Yes.
But they couldn't. It couldn't touch. They couldn't touch nothing because it was in her name. Now that is 1 out of 100.
Yeah. Because most men are thinking that what's the point giving everything? You feel that you're giving the woman everything. But what's interesting is what happened at the House of Reps in March this year, where they passed a bill for a second reading. This bill is seeking to allow widows and widowers take leave with full pay to mourn the deceased spouses. The legislation is proposing to make paid leave also mandatory for widows and widowers. And it proposes 5 months and 1 month, 5 months for the widows and 1 month for the widower. This bill would apply to employees of both public and private sectors in Nigeria. Now, here's the kicker. After being referred to the relevant committee for further legislative action, it has been literally crickets. As with everything that concerns widows. So it's as if, like you say, it's as if this is a bad, it's a bad omen, or it's a bad, we can't touch them. And there's the imperceptible thought that she must have contributed. And it's always the she, it's not the widower.
Yeah.
She contributed to the man. So now, my question is, what changes do you think need to happen in changing the mindset, in changing, the way people perceive what needs to be done? Policies, bills, everything.
We have such a long way to go.
I know.
Yeah. Like people need to go to jail.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
need to go to
I
jail.
talked about this morning, I just talked about it on my Instagram, about a man who broke into his late brother's widow's room because he wanted to have sex with her.
Sorry, what?
Yes.
Sorry, what?
He had been asking her out and she had been saying no. So he broke through the roof and landed in her room. And, yes.
Broke through the roof. They're living in the family house.
Yeah, they live in the family house because she bolted the door. So because she said no, he beat her up so much that her head was bleeding. I have the picture on my phone.
Wait.
Yes.
Wait. Sorry, hold on.
But this is part of the entitlement to widows.
Exactly.
Because Yoruba people call it shupo. It's part of the practices that we see where a male family member is, the widow is oftentimes remarried to a male family member. It could be a brother, it could be an uncle. It happens in Yoruba land. It happens in Igbo land.
Yes, it happens in Yoruba land.
They call it shupo.
It should be by choice.
Yeah, it should be by choice. And the intention then was for safety of the widow and to keep the children in the family. But again, we have moved. Culture has changed. The world has changed.
So I'm sorry.
But people are still feeling that they're entitled.
So you're saying to protect the widow and protect the woman and the children, you break into her room and beat her to a pulp?
Because she said no.
Don't miss me there. I said
Are we for real?
Because she said no.
Finish the story.
And then, the family, the father-in-law and everybody lives in that house too. So
they were aware?
They were aware. In the morning, they stopped the guy and everything. And then the lady, so I asked the lady, okay, let's get you out of there. Let's get you an apartment, pay the kids' fees. You know what she told me? She said, that she doesn't know how she'll
Continue it after.
to pay the rent. I said, okay, first of all, you're not even going to get somewhere that's super expensive. It's going to be affordable. And are you not going to work and save? You know, that is part of the societal conditioning that people have given widows. Like, just stay.
You're helpless.
That's small. They don't know that when you step out, more opportunities, doors will
Life
open.
responds to that.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah,
so
response to that.
we have such a long way to go when it comes to, first of all, there needs to be policies because, I mean, and it's not just about making laws, it's about enforcing them.
Yes.
Because we have so many laws, but who is making
enforcing
sure?
them?
Sometimes
laws are
when a
followed.
widow goes to the police station, the policemen laugh, they say it's a family matter now, a family matter, you know, and there has to be somebody that we can report to that will respond swiftly. You know, if a widow is being disenfranchised, somebody is trying to take her late husband's property and stuff like that. And also, a lot of our traditions need to be scrapped. It serves no one.
It serves
So the woman now
It's
is
true. It serves someone. It serves
someone.
someone.
It just does not serve women.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't serve the widow.
Imagine this
It
woman
doesn't serve
saying
the
that. So
children.
you prefer to be beaten, to be raped, and because you want the security of being
but I
within the
think you
family.
understand
Just
when,
like
when helplessness has
said,
been...
the precariousness
Fear
of
of the
a
unknown.
woman's life is more about you as a person even before you became married.
Yeah.
So if a woman is not empowered on her own, even in your marriage, you are still not empowered.
Can I tell you guys a story?
So-
I actually heard this just yesterday. A couple of friends were discussing, and I don't know how we started talking about this, but it was about how much aggression there is against women. And this person, very well educated, she's an intelligent woman. She says, even her, when she's dealing with men, she speaks with the softest tone. She doesn't try to challenge them. She says, when you've got male artisans coming to work at your house, be as sweet as possible because they do not take kindly to a woman standing in her power or using her voice. A man in the group was saying when he was younger, his mom, because it was a single parent household, his mom used to give him the money to pay the
artisan.
gardener, I think.
Oh, okay.
And one day, she said no more. She's going to pay him herself because he wouldn't respect the woman who employed him. So she says, I will pay him this month. Do you know, this artisan, this guy who is supposed to, this is his livelihood, refused to collect his paycheck, his envelope from the woman. When her and her son were standing together, she gave it to him. He looked at the son like, are you not going to collect this money and give it to me? This woman cannot be paying me. Let me give you the kicker. The son at the time was 14 years old.
I was just imagining.
14 years old, but he had more respect, he had more validity as a human being than the mother
That was
who
working.
was employing this cracker.
You know, before we even answer, because there's some
We have 3
questions
minutes.
that we have to
We have
quickly
3
take.
minutes, ladies.
You know, there are traditional stereotypes because
Yeah.
the essence of you coming is to
Yes.
see that a lot of women change. Something changes, something gives.
Absolutely.
What can we do, or what work can women do to be able to challenge some of these traditional stereotypes and be able to tell their own stories? Because one of the things about this thing is the closed mouth nature
Yeah.
of some of these things happening. When my father died, as old as my mother was, I can't even tell you what my uncle was like. We had to kick him out. You don't understand? When my father died, my dad's younger brother packed his things to our house
As
and
paying-
brought his son.
New Lord and Masters.
That he wants to come and stay in
Oh my
his skinny and
goodness.
take care of my...
Oh my
My mom is old. What do you want to shoot from there?
What do you want to shoot
And
from
my
there?
stepmother, was more of a tiger.
Wow.
So we had to even go to police station to be able to
get him out.
get his things out.
Just imagine.
So what do we quickly do so that women will be able to tell their own story and get help?
Maybe you tie it to the question you wanted to ask about.
Is the last question 2 minutes? Okay, I want to say Joan because her middle name is Joan. We're so used to calling her Joan, but we have to change this narrative for future generations.
Yeah.
You're gorgeous.
That's
You have
it.
3
Thank
kids. You deserve to be loved
Happy.
the right way and the way you want to be
Yes.
loved.
Yes.
And I know you want to get remarried, and God will bless you
will.
with
Amen.
what you want.
Amen.
But there are millions of Nigerian women who don't know how to become you in the space they find themselves as widows. How do they do that?
First of all, you have to create boundaries. You have to learn to create boundaries because a lot of people will come and tell you how you should live, how you should dress, even what shade of lipstick you should wear. Oh, you're a widow now. You're not supposed to, you know. I've had so many people tell me, oh, you don't look like a widow. Oh, you don't, you know. Someone told me once, oh, you need to tone down your makeup so that you will not, you know, drive away your helpers.
Hey, yes. You are your helper.
Yes. you know, people say,
Anytime I hear that helper,
all sorts of crazy things, you know. You need to tone down.
They not think you're balling too
And
much.
people will keep
She's
you,
heard that
they will try to keep you small as much as possible. You have to learn to say no.
I'm not going to be small.
When a woman becomes a widow, she automatically needs to get the strength to be able to fight for herself, to advocate for yourself. Because sometimes there will be nobody, even your mother, your sisters will be saying, just agree, just tell them yes. You have to say no. You have to stand your ground, you know. And the thing with these people is that sometimes they would take. Sometimes they would even come for your children. Send your son to me for holiday. And you know, in single parent household, the rate of sexual abuse is very high.
Yeah.
You know, so you need to protect your children as well. And if you cannot advocate yourself, if you don't know how to say no, and then you have to be ready to work hard. Be ready to make money. Don't depend on people begging and, you know,
handouts.
You can only do so much.
Okay. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry in my ear. There's so much, but I have to say thank you so much, Oluwaseun, for sharing your insights, for sharing your experience with us today.
Thank you so
I know that someone out there has been challenged, a widow out there has been challenged to do something differently, and also people have been challenged to stand up. It's very clear that the work you're doing is vital to changing the narrative around widowhood in Nigeria. And by empowering widows and challenging these outdated cultural norms, we can all pave the way for a more compassionate, inclusive society. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'm saying thank you for watching as well, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. We gotta go. Wow.